and it's still something that like people will just, you know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Let them devour it.
Thank you, that's the word. Gosh, Clyde, you should be a writer.
You think?
Welcome back, my eerily devoted Dexter fans, to another episode of Final Cut, your one-stop shop for all things Dexter and the official after show for Dexter Resurrection. I'm Jamie Chung, and I'm here to slice into every twisted detail of this week's episode, and boy, was it a doozy. Tonight's the night, baby!
Tonight's the night, baby.
We are joined tonight by someone who helped build this world from the ground up. Clyde Phillips was the original showrunner behind the first 4 seasons, and yes, the ones that gave you everything from the Ice Truck Killer to Trinity. He returned to Dexter New Blood, which pulled Dexter out of hiding and forced him to finally face the consequences of the life that he built. Then came Dexter Original Sin, where he rewound the clock to explore how Dexter became who he is. And now he's back once again to lead Dexter Resurrection. He's a master of character, the keeper of Dexter's deepest secrets, and a huge part of why we're still hooked after all these years. Please welcome executive producer and showrunner, Clyde Phillips. Give it up, guys! Woo! Thank you so much for being here with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for employment.
You bet.
Well, I'm so excited about this week's episode, and before we dive in, we must say, if you haven't seen episode 4, shame on you. It is the best episode of the series, and there's a lot of spoilers coming up. So stop this episode, go back to the show, and come back to hear all the inside scoop. This episode's called Call Me Red. And my goodness, I was just on the edge of my seat watching this episode. It really sets the tone of how the season is going to play out.
I gotta say, Monica Raymond directed this
Yes.
episode. I've done 15 series. This is the first cut of it, the director's cut that came into my office was probably the best first cut I've ever seen.
Ronald Schmidt.
Call me Red.
First test. Passed.
Not on your life, up front. This isn't your car, Mr. Dark Passenger.
Looks like someone came prepared.
We have our first scene with Dexter and Charlie. Did you know that you wanted Uma Thurman, which seems like the perfect casting to play this role?
No, we don't have any actors in mind when we're writing the
Okay.
roles. When we first got, Ross Meyerson is my casting director, and when we first got inkling that Uma would even be willing to have the conversation,
Yeah.
and then Scott and I did a Zoom with her, and it could not have gone better. And it's Uma Thurman.
Let's go.
And by the way, our costume designer, Kat Thomas, did the costume design for Kill Bill. So she already knew Uma.
My God.
Time to meet the man of the manor.
Ronald Schmidt, welcome.
He prefers red.
Leon Prater.
What was the inspiration behind Prater, played by Peter Dinklage?
Nobody would ever think that we could get Peter Dinklage.
No
In fact,
way.
and then the casting department makes lists.
Yes.
This never happens. I'm happy to say we got all our first choices.
Wow.
We had a Zoom with Peter, who had just come back from Bulgaria and then had to fly back for pickups and then came back and was exhausted. And it was love at first sight in both directions.
What is behind his character? I want to know. I know he's obsessed with owning things.
It develops more and more until the finale, which we just finished shooting
I
2 days ago.
Press that button. I want to show you one of my dearest passions.
Okay, let's talk about the serial killer memorabilia room. Talk to me about the vault.
We saw it in our heads. It's just one big room.
Yeah.
Our production designer, Eric Weiler, had this idea to turn it into segments. The first thing we see when we go into the vault is the John Wayne Gacy clown suit. And then when Dexter goes in there and sees Trinity's hammer
Yeah.
and sees the exsanguination table where he killed his own brother,
Mm-hmm.
and then sees his slides that he is drawn to, but he's under a pseudonym. He's playing another
Yeah.
character. It's once again Dexter blending in.
We have the return of one of my favorite cameos, Scott Reynolds as Pogo the Clown.
Scott is so happy and
Oh, I mean-
perfect for that.
It's perfection.
Yeah.
Like he does it a little too well.
We built the suit on him.
Oh, wow.
And
It's custom.
and then did the heavy makeup.
Yeah.
He was in heavy makeup. He had to grow a mustache for it.
Oh, I thought he just woke up like that.
No. And then Monica had him do it several different ways.
Yeah.
Happy, crazy, solemn, menacing. So that was an original sin. And
Yeah.
then we used a clip of it in episode 4.
Well, Dexter is now the dark passenger, but we had Red, Ronald Schmidt, take his name and his copyright.
Which really pissed
I
Dexter
mean,
off.
Let's
He
talk
says-
about ego.
He says, I'm the dark passenger.
Yeah.
And also when he ends up killing Red, he reveals, and now I'm the dark passenger.
I've been hosting this gathering for years. I know how unnerving it can be for someone like you to be found, but your secrets are safe with me. This is a safe space for people like you.
Like you.
So there are others.
On their way.
Tell me about the inspiration behind the Society of Serial Killers.
There was, in actuality, a pig farmer in northern,
Pacific
like
North-
Washington
yeah.
or Vancouver, somewhere up there. And he would invite serial killers there. BTK went there, others did. And then they would have these sex workers over
Yeah.
and kill them
After
and feed them
an
to the
orgy.
pigs.
Jesus.
So off of that notion, we just built, off of that germ of an idea,
Yeah.
we then modernized it, brought it to New York, came up with even more serial killers than we actually used, and then whittled it down so it was manageable, then cast it. Cast the hell out of
I
it.
mean, we have Lady Vengeance, we have Rapunzel,
Rapunzel.
the Tattoo Collector.
Gemini.
I mean, my God, how fun was it to write this episode?
It was amazing, I have to say, because we introduced all of the guest stars
I mean-
in one episode.
I cannot believe that you got such incredible actors. Peter Dinklage, Uma Thurman, Kristen Ritter.
Eric Stonestreet, Neil Patrick Harris, David Dalsmatchian.
Come on.
A couple of reasons that we get them. A, Michael Hall.
Yes.
B, I make sure that all the scripts are written before I show it to an actor that I really want to
Yeah.
get. And so Uma and Peter and Eric read it and realized we're not going to fuck them over in the 8th episode.
No.
They know the whole book of the series. So now they want to do it. And we got them together. We didn't even do a table read. We just all got together and everybody just elevated each other. You can see the excitement. It came together better than we could have possibly imagined. That day when everybody was at the dinner in the episode,
In one of 3 mansions, by the way.
people are framing the call sheet, if you can imagine. Look at those names on that call sheet.
God, I can't wait to see what happens
Yeah.
next.
It gets
Where
better
do we go?
gets
Okay.
better and better and better.
Oh, look at you.
Hi, honey.
This feels more like a class reunion than a dinner with killers.
Al, meet Red.
So Eric Stonestreet, when he was a day-playing actor 20 years ago, Dexter's 20 years old.
Yeah.
Eric Stonestreet came in to play one of the victims of Rudy, Kristen Carmago,
Yeah.
Dexter's brother, Brian. And he didn't get the part. Day player, yes, it's yes or no. The next week, he would have been working for me, and he went in, if I had hired him, and he went in auditioned for Modern Family. and
Wow.
Changed his life.
And the rest
so
is- yeah.
it's good to the know.
Wow. And now he's back.
Now he's back.
For one of the
and
best.
it's wonderful, yeah.
Even just his reactions are gold.
And he's a
they
great-
kept them all in there.
He's a great ad-libber too, because
Yeah.
we had, when you're just 8, I don't know how Monica did it, but we've got like 8 actors in the same scene, and you have to pass some time and you have to motivate a cut or whatever it is, and Eric says, I got it, and he'll just start ad-libbing about the food or something, and next thing you know, you can slide into the next scene. He's a wonderful guy.
I've got a disc. I got a belt grinder in my shop that I could just kind of whip it around.
You can do it yourself.
Oh, yeah, it's very easy.
Yeah, Diablo. Harrison? Harrison Morgan? Angel Batista. I used to work with your pops in Miami Metro.
I love that Angel meets Harrison for the first time and to have that nostalgia. Like my sister babysat you, and when you were a kid, and I gave you that little train set when you were 4. Red. Of course.
Red train set,
I mean,
yes.
I caught on to that. Why do you think that he holds back in telling Harrison that Dexter is actually alive?
Because Batista had visited in the first episode Dexter up in the hospital
Yes.
and knows that Dexter could not have possibly killed the guy who got killed in the hotel. And Harrison Morgan happens to be working there and
Yeah.
had been in Iron Lake, where Kurt Caldwell disappeared, played by Clancy Brown. I mean, everything Batista is doing and saying all through the season is right.
Yeah.
He just can't prove it.
It can drive a man crazy.
Lots of things can.
Are you hungry?
Always.
My Airbnb is a few blocks away. Do you want to come over?
I'd love to, but
Come on. I have incredible pastries, and I love a good reward after the end of a run.
I sense a bit of a spark between Lady Vengeance, played by Kristen Ritter, and Dexter. But I think ultimately it's something that he doesn't see just yet because men, it takes them a longer time to come around, let's be honest.
Well, Dexter has other things on his mind,
Correct. I mean, sure.
and he's got to take care of the Neil Patrick
Yeah.
Harris character,
Yeah, first.
and has to keep moving.
So you're saying there is a chance?
I'm saying that they spend more time together.
Okay. I love a budding romance.
you were right about one thing. Tonight's the night, baby.
You're gonna fuck with Prater's rules after day one. Whoa, ballsy.
I'll take my chances. This is usually the part where people start screaming and begging for their lives.
Yeah, well, I've been on the other side of this long enough to know when it's inevitable. Sorry to droop your chub.
Now, the kill room between Dexter and Lowell is amazing. Tell me about filming with Neil and Michael together.
Well, again, these are two
Phenomenal.
actors at the top of their craft,
Yeah.
and they lift each other up. The kill scene, Neil was game for anything. In fact, he came to me and he wanted to change a couple of lines or reverse the order of a couple of
Okay.
lines, and I'm always open to that.
Yeah.
And we did it, and he turned what was a good aggressive line
Yeah.
into a good aggressive and funny line.
Yeah.
Droop your chub. The two of them working together were magic.
Lowell, meet Red.
Before we pack this one up, do you have time for our little game, Blood Slide Roulette?
No, I can go.
Okay, great.
Okay. Of course I do.
Call us Cars. Cars here. Right here, I've got a box of blood slides, and each one's got a random question, some a little silly and some very twisted. So
Let's do it.
let's go ahead and pick one.
28,
28. What movie or show captures New York City the best?
Taxi Driver.
Iconic.
Let's do lucky number 13.
Okay, lucky number 13. Ooh, the scariest fictional serial killer of all time.
I guess Silence of the Lambs.
Oof, terrifying.
I write novels as well, and I'd just finished writing years ago my first book, and then I picked up Silence of the Lambs and read it, and then rewrote my book.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big influence on me.
Hannibal Lecter and Dexter, any similarities at all?
I mean, Hannibal's a monster,
Yeah.
and Dexter's a human being. He's a psychopath, but he's a human being. He does his best to blend in, hide what he does. Hannibal Lecter does not.
I mean, they are both carnivores.
And Dexter has a good appetite, but
Yeah.
not as good as Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. Now, take us back to the beginning. Do you remember your first reaction when you read the source material?
When I read Jeff Lindsay's book, Darkly
Yes.
Dreaming Dexter, I read it on an airplane, and I was so engrossed in it that even after we landed, I stayed in my seat to finish it. So, because I was running off to then go have a meeting at Showtime, and it's still with me today.
What was the path back to the franchise after stepping away for so long, and what made you want to come back for Original Sin and Resurrection?
The reason I left was I realized I was working for a lifestyle that I wasn't living. I was in Los Angeles, and my wife and daughter were here, and we're in New York. Then I did another show, and a couple of other shows, and some other pilots. And then I got a phone call from Gary Levine, who was president of Showtime. And I remember it was July 1st, 2019, and said, "We want to do New Blood. Are you interested?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm interested." I called my writing assistant, and we banged out a story. Oh, he took notes as I yacked away, and flew from Martha's Vineyard to New York to meet with Michael, who was living here at the time. I had a 40-minute pitch, and about 20 minutes in, he said, "I get it, I love it, I'm in." And gave me a hug, got in the car to head back to the airport, called Gary Levine at Showtime. He picked up right away. Well, Michael's in. He said, great, go hire a room.
When I first became an actor and I first moved to Los Angeles, The Secret was a big thing, and you make a vision board. And I remember being so engrossed in this series, and it was some of the best acting that I was like, I want to be on a show like Dexter. I want to be on Dexter. And sadly, it was, it ended by the time I started getting roles. But then for it to come back around and to be hired on New Blood was really, truly a dream come true. So thank you.
And you were great on it.
Thank you.
We loved killing you.
Oh. How did your mindset shift to Resurrection?
Well, again, I had a writing room.
Yes.
And I was doing 2 shows at the same time.
Yeah.
We were writing Original Sin and Resurrection at the same time. So Resurrection came about partly because, at the end of New Blood, we shot and killed Dexter. And then Marco Siega, our executive producing director, was directing Michael Hall, one of his videos for his band, Princess Goes. And Michael said, kind of whispering, says, you know what, I don't really want to come back. So Michael calls and says, look, Dexter's in your blood, Dexter's in my blood. Can you figure out a way to unkill me? So I was in New York. I called Scott Reynolds, my number 2, who's also a former assistant. And we banged around the idea a bit back and forth. And then we needed to then make it the next step. So we figured out how to unkill him.
Yeah.
And then the next step was to get him to New York City, to get him out of Iron Lake, which was sort of abstinent. But he was living a life of abstinence, and we wanted him to regain who he was and acknowledge his own acknowledgement of who he is and get involved in a big city with a lot of candidates. I mean, Iron Lake was population 800 or whatever it was. I forgot what the sign said. New York is population 8 million, so it's...
I mean, it really is the best place to hide.
And also he wanted to find his son.
Yeah.
So his son who was hiding, Dexter found him, because Dexter can find anybody.
Like you said, Dexter is in your blood. Is there a way that we can undead Molly Park? It is in my blood. It's something that I will not give up. But
clearly,
just think about it.
Sure.
Don't say no now. You can call Paramount later, but I'm just planting the seed.
That's all I'll think about from now on.
Okay, thank you so much. You've written some of the most memorable moments on Dexter. Are there any from Resurrection that you can tell the audience without giving away too much?
The finale that we just finished shooting 2 days ago is my favorite of the year.
What do you hope Resurrection adds to the legacy of the franchise?
Well, our mission is to keep it always fresh. And also, part of what we're doing is we're acknowledging Dexter, Michael C. Hall's age. So he has to do things differently. He has to do things a little more slowly. He's been shot in the chest, his shoulders hurt. It's harder to get out of bed. And then the relationship with his son. And so what we're adding to legacy is, I believe, a continued intimacy, which you don't usually have. Why does an audience invite a serial killer into their home every Sunday night?
Yeah.
And it's Michael, and it's voiceover. And voiceover is relatable, and he's vulnerable and funny. Often we'll be editing a scene, and I'll see something and I have a moment for voiceover, and I'll record it on my iPhone, send it to the assistant editor. She'll cut it in. Michael will see it, record it, and it's in the show the next day. The main thing that I want the audience to take away is I want them to always be leaning forward, but also have a sense of comfort, because there are Easter eggs all over the place, as you saw. And as they're leaning forward with whether it's the music, whether it's a gesture that Michael makes, they're coming home, and they're coming home to something good.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Dexter Final Cut. A huge thanks to our lovely guest, the one and only Clyde Phillips. Woo! It was such a pleasure and honor chatting with you. Thank you so much for being here. You're the best. So don't forget to subscribe to the Dexter YouTube channel, drop a comment, and jump into the Dexter community. We love hearing all of your theories and your questions. Stream new episodes of Dexter Resurrection on Paramount Plus only with the premium plan. And then swing on by to the Dexter YouTube channel the day after for our official breakdown. I'm Jamie Chung, and until then, tread lightly.
It's great.
And now, a sneak peek of next week's episode.
You're like a goddamn horror movie villain.
There certainly are some similarities.
What makes you think I even want you in my life?
I know about Ryan Foster.
I'm talking about collaborating on a kill.
Maybe I'll tell Mia who I really am.
Or maybe she'll tell Prater you're the Bay Harbor Butcher.
There's a problem.
I hired you to make problems go away. Did I make a mistake?
The original series and New Blood is available on the Essential Plan.